Blight is a really unpleasant, very vigorous fungal disease that affects potatoes and tomato plants. Now, it particularly hits plants when they're in their most productive phase, and in the case of tomatoes, usually it's around mid to late summer when there's quite a lot of humidity in the air. Blight usually attacks plants when they've been planted too close together and when there's poor airflow and we've got humid conditions. It's transmitted by birds, by bugs, by spores flying around on the wind, especially after rain, and by unknowing gardeners. The signs to look out for, well, if you come down here, see this leaf here? We've got dark spots with a yellow crown around them. These are the first signs that you will see. What happens next is you get dark splodges on the stems themselves, and then very rapidly the foliage on a plant completely wilts. Now, it's so highly contagious that when you get blight on one plant, all the plants in the vicinity need to be removed. You cannot take these plants out and put them in your compost heap because the spores will just go straight back into the garden again. You have to dispose of them, sorry about that, by putting them into the household rubbish. Okay, so this plant comes out and it goes straight into the rubbish. If there are any fruit on your tomato plants, I wouldn't bother trying to save them. If you put them on the windowsill to ripen, they're most likely just to rot within the following days. But if blight does affect your potato plants, then you can cut all the foliage back, and if you wait about a week, then you can harvest the potatoes underground. Hopefully they'll come out and there won't be any spores around to infect them, so you can get some harvest out of that. Well, that's the end of that tomato harvest, and it really is disappointing when you get blight. There's no getting away from it. You mustn't plant potatoes or tomatoes in the same soil where you've had blight for at least a couple of years. But the good news is that when it comes to tomatoes, you can plant them again in your garden, but plant them in containers and you should be okay. Also, a greenhouse will help.